Mine. Hi, my name is Eric Awalano. I was born in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, May 22nd, 1996. I was diagnosed with autism in the age, I don't know what year, maybe, but anyway. My dream is to become a director and a singer, to be like Rob Zombie. I went to film school to study film at Music, and they had a first autism guy at their school. I went to singing lessons to become a heavy metal singer, to go up on stage and sing my heart out with my band. I worked at 5 jobs, but some of them I find it stressful. The reason I want to make this documentary is so I could probably be famous one day. So this is my story about my life. Enjoy.
What I think about Eric is that he's really great, he's fun, easy to talk to. I enjoy being around him, and I think he works good and is an overall wonderful person.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
His biggest disappointment? I honestly don't know that answer. I don't know.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
No, I don't think anything stressed me out about working with Eric. Pretty easy.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
Hey, Eric.
Hi.
We all care about money, but no,
Yeah.
I think especially with the family video, he really enjoyed working here.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working? What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
Some of the things I've learned from Eric is that I've learned patience and acceptance and friendliness.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
He helped me so much.
Eric didn't work here.
I don't have to do this all by myself.
Business would probably,
That was boring.
you know, we feel a loss because we enjoy Eric being here with us. But you know, we would just continue the best way we could without him.
What do you think about Eric Awalano?
Eric's an amazing person. Eric's one of those guys that when he set his mind on something, he's going to get it done. And I'll tell you a story. He wanted to come to film school, and he set up a GoFundMe type campaign and was able to get some help with that to go to film school, which is pretty amazing to think that somebody that wants to do this goes so far to actually put together a campaign like that to fulfill his dreams.
When it is hard to work with Eric and telling him these things, do you find it stressful?
Eric has a different way of approaching things than most people, but sometimes that's kind of cool because you get a different perspective, and it's always good to see someone else's perspective. I don't find it stressful at all with Eric. I think he will listen to what you need done, and he'll get it done. And you know, he's a great guy for that, and he's a great guy to have a different perspective and come at it from a different worldview.
When he is excited for the next project
All right, so
and
you wanna
then
hand in your
you find out
assignments now, or you wanna show
that
me
it was
what you've been working on?
disappointment for him,
see this.
how does he react?
Eric, this needs some work, man.
When Eric works on a project, and just
gotta
like
have
all
more
of us,
attention
when we
to
work on a
detail.
project, we
We
have
talked about this
ideas
before,
about
how
what it's going to
attention
be
to
and
detail
how great it's going to be,
bigger
and
on
how
the page,
amazing it's going to be.
a different
And
font
sometimes,
size, all that
especially
stuff.
when
So
you're learning,
you could work on it a little
they
bit more
don't
and
turn
get it
out,
back to me with
you
the
know,
right
you're not
parameters.
always making a Hollywood
Okay.
movie right out of the gate because, you know, you don't have the funding, don't have the knowledge yet. So
Alright, so
it can
you
be
read down the
frustrating to
assignment?
do a project and not
Let me see it.
actually have it turn out the way you
This is
thought
much
it was going to
better.
turn out in your
This is what
head.
I'm looking for. I'm looking for you.
You know, and Eric
to turn
recognizes
into
that when he
this file
sees stuff like
size,
that, and
fonts are right.
I think we all
everything
get
is right,
frustrated,
you've done
he
what
gets
I've asked you to
frustrated,
put
but
the
we
shadow
all
on the rocket
overcome
ship
it,
there.
and he overcomes it.
This is good work.
When
So,
Eric
that's what I
started
need to see
and
from you. I need to see
graduated,
great
do
work.
you think
What's
he
great
was
is
ready or
you
no?
made some mistakes. I told you what they were. You fixed them. So that's awesome.
So when
Give you
Eric
100 on this
went to school here at Media Tech Institute, we
one. Is that cool?
train people for entry level into the film and video world. Eric's ready for that. He's ready for the entry level in the film and video world. Sure, there are some, you know, he's got some obstacles to overcome that I think make him a benefit because he will come at things from a different perspective. But the reality is he's ready to do this entry level work and to get into this business.
What do I think about Eric Ariano? Well, for one thing, he is a hard worker. I think the kid has the strength of 2 football players. You tell him to pick up equipment and to move it from here to there, he'll have it done in a snap. You know, he's a good grip. He's a very handy to have on set to be working behind the scenes while other things are happening on set, to be moving from here and there. I think that he's a really good student too. He always got his work done. He always worked well with other people on crew, and I think overall he's a well-rounded kid.
And it is hard to.
I don't find it stressful. You know, Eric has his tics. You know, Eric has his mannerisms. His personality is a little bit of. I think of him as a bit of a rhino. He kind of pushes his way through, whether you really tell him to or not. But I think that I've had really good experiences working with him. So, you know, I can't really talk to stress.
When he is excited for the next project and then you find out that it was a disappointment for him, how does he react?
Well, Eric is a bit of a temper. I think that's fair to say. I think that I don't think that he takes failure very well. Hell, I don't take failure well. You know, we all have things that we need to work on ourselves and improve ourselves upon. But yeah, I think that when he runs into a dead end or a roadblock, he tends to get a little angry about it. Well, I think that Eric learned a lot while he was going to school here. You know, I think that, you know, Eric didn't really know a lot about working on a film set, working on a video set, video production. He didn't know a lot about that when he first started here. I think that when he left, I think he had a good comprehension of how film sets work. Could he maybe have taken another year? Who's to say? I felt like he improved a lot while he was going to school here. So, you know, there's that.
What do you think about Eric Arellano?
Eric Arellano lives at our house with us. He is Abby's son. He is 22 years old, and he used to work here. This was his first real paying job, 40 hours a week, with weekends off.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
Our disappointment or his disappointment?
His disappointment.
I'm not sure what he was disappointed about. I never asked.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
I was more concerned about Eric not paying attention when he walked around the lot in these big motorhomes. We're driving around, and sometimes he might have his earphones in. I was afraid that he would get hit, you know, or just run over. I mean, I worry about the dogs too, but the dogs are pretty fast and they don't wear earphones, so they can hear something coming. But Eric would be picking up and walking, you know, doing his job. And that was my biggest concern. Was Eric getting hurt? You know, because he's just never worked in this type of environment before, and it's pretty quick, pretty fast, and these RVs are really big. Some of them are real big, and that was my concern. Especially the ones with the engine in the back. I mean, you could be at the front and not even hear the engine running in the back. So that was my biggest concern with Eric here.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
Yeah, it seems that way. He's pretty focused on the money.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
Oh, for Eric, it just takes a lot of hands-on with Eric. Eric needs a lot of hands-on, and unfortunately I didn't have the time to do that, and he got a better gig somewhere else. So,
what are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
what did I learn from Eric?
Yes.
I've learned a lot about autism that I think nothing about autism and all about Eric, and just watching and working with Eric, I see the way that Eric thinks and sees the world, which is a little differently than the rest of us. It's not bad or good. It's just a different way, and sometimes it's unique. I mean, that's what makes stuff like that. It's just what makes the world go around. Yeah, all of us are different.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
Man? Well, Eric doesn't work here anymore. And we have to. I have to pick up the trash. And I have to pick up all the things that Eric did. You know, me or somebody else do. I mean, we take out the trashes. We pick up the cigarette butts, and I told him it was bubble gum on the parking lot.
You need to get to
But
work,
it's not
man.
really
You can
bubble
watch
gum.
at
It's the little
lunch
sticky bits that
and
come off
on your
the
break.
sealant
But
that comes
you
off of
can't watch
RVs, and
TV.
the guys
I mean,
are working on
if
it, falls
it's like
down, and
7 in
sticky
the
stick to
morning,
your shoe, then gets to the
before we
carpet.
start, after
So
5,
Eric used to get all
during
that.
work
He's pretty
hours,
good
your
about
ass
keeping
is
that
mine.
picked up really
I'm
well.
paying for
And once he got something, once he got locked in up here, he was real good about it, about doing that job really well. So that's one of the things he did really, really well. And now we have to do it. So.
What do you think about Eric Arellano?
That's a big question. There's lots that I think about Eric Arellano. To me, Eric Arellano, I can talk about him as my son. I can talk about him in a way that looks at him as compared to his peers, age-wise, and where he is in his life. I can talk about him as a man, a young man, but as my son, he's always been very sweet. I always say he has a lovely heart. Eric definitely sees the world and interacts with the world in his own way, but I think we kind of all do. I think with Eric it's a little bit more distinct, but I don't think it's a bad thing. He's got a lot of great strengths going for him. He's got an unbelievable memory. He is tough. He is resilient. He is stubborn in a good way. He learns from his mistakes, and he may make another mistake, but he doesn't make that mistake again. And those are huge things. I know grown people who have trouble with that still, including myself. He's got great values. He takes accountability when he does make a mistake, and he tries to make it right. It almost physically pains him if he can't immediately correct a wrong. He's got an amazing work ethic. And all this sounds pretty fabulous, but then again, I'm mom, so I'm going to be prone to being more positive. A lot of these same traits when he was younger definitely at times were challenging, but the trick was turning them so that they would work for us instead of against us. And I think he is very ambitious, but he also only does things when he's ready. But once he's ready, stay out of his way, he's going to do it. But trying to get him to do something before he wants to do it is like pulling a mule uphill. And so, and sometimes he has difficulty grasping concepts that are very gray and soft around the edges. He does much better in the black and white.
What was his biggest disappointment while walking here?
At Blue Moon?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, considering we were his first job try, and job, I would have to ask him that question, what his biggest disappointment was. I don't know. I know he got in trouble for having his phone on and letting his phone distract him, and he got in trouble for that. But in typical Eric fashion, we had a sit-down discussion about it, used it as a learning opportunity for how discipline happens in the workplace. And when he came in to work, every time after that, the first thing he did was put his cell phone in my drawer.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
Oh yeah. You know, if you believe God matches kids with their parents, I think Eric and I are a good example of that. Because my mind is always going 100 miles an hour, and my mind is wired. I believe everybody's minds are wired different. Mine is a puzzle. That's right. Put her together. I'm constantly trying to. Everything's a puzzle, and it's a puzzle to put together. And in my mind, it happens really quickly and automatically. Just like in Eric's mind, when he sees a movie that he loves, he can tell you everything about it, and it's all in his memory, and he doesn't have to work hard at it. Mine, it's puzzles. So when I'm trying to learn how to do something, it comes pretty quick. As long as I can watch somebody do it or somebody can explain it, it comes really quick.
No, not really.
With Eric, it definitely has to be done in a tell him, show him, watch him do it, go back over it and explain how to do it again. And then sometimes what is the most frustrating thing is when I reach the end of what I can do. I tried to explain explained it a different way. I've tried to show, but I can tell that I'm still failing to help him understand whatever it is he needs to understand, but I've been, a lot of times, at that point, there are other people in his life that can kind of pick up the slack and help with that. But some of it is definitely just Eric's alone to continue to work on understanding, and that has to do with his motivation to want to understand, whether it's how to do a more high quality film and the different teeny tiny annoying little pieces that involve doing that, or planning a project.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
Eric's very good with money. He is very frugal. He is not, we've had to have a couple discussions about managing money. So money is important. He wants to work because he understands working means making money. But I think Eric also believes it's important to do a good job. That's just part of his value system. He wants to please. That's one of his core drives.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
Okay, let me think. I would say communication, both verbal and nonverbal, both with his communication and what people are saying to him, being aware of the bigger picture and not just his piece of the picture, so that he can do more than just somebody giving him a task that is A, B, and C. If he understands the bigger picture, that allows him to contribute in ways that use his initiative of, I did this.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
So many things. I think Eric's taught me how to be, he's taught me about myself. He's taught me areas that I need to grow in, patience. He's shown me that I'm a good person, because Eric does what Eric does because that's what he's seen, that's what he's experienced. And it was just Eric and I for probably 12 years of his life. And I remember telling a friend one day, they were complimenting me on Eric, and I said, he's really got a kind heart. And the person I was talking to said, where do you think he got that from? Because that's probably something he learned. So he taught me to see myself in that way. I try to be that, but you don't always go, whoa, I actually am a kind person. But he's definitely taught me patience, and he's shown me how my brain works different than the rest.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
Okay, so patience. He's helped me see how we're all different, how he's different, how I'm different. He showed me things about myself that I did not see. And he inspires me with his work ethic. And he shows me that we're both very compatible. That I have dogs that woof and woof and woof. That's Ozzy. And he's a woofer. He lives under my desk during the day. Ozzy, you want to come see?
Yes. What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
Well, worked here for a little bit before he worked at, of course, McDonald's. So we always need extra help because we're always so busy. And having Eric around always felt good because I got to feel like I was there to help him grow, to teach him stuff and stuff like that. The business, I honestly think that Eric shines at this stage in his life sometimes brighter when he's out from underneath me and he's out on his own being independent. I don't know what, no one person can end a business or make a business. What I think about when I think about Eric not being here is while he did good here, I think when he's out on his own he does better because it challenges him more. And while I have never coddled him or treated him any different than anyone else, I think he demands more of himself when he is out on his own than when he's with me, working wise.
I've worked at Wendy's on the end of June, when the Summer Unlearn program, and I liked it at Wendy's. The workers respected me. The manager was a cool guy named Andre, and then I worked hard, but then when I worked at Wendy's when I was at MediaTek, but then I found out that it was only for 5 weeks, and I asked the manager if I wanted to stay long, and he had a talk with his boss, and the boss said no, and I felt pretty disappointed about it, and I've worked hard, and I kind of wanted to stay long. So since I wasn't working at Wendy's, I had to move back to work with my mom at Blue Moon Mobile Office again, just because of this. Do you think about Eric Avalon?
What do I think?
What do you think about Eric Avalon?
He's a nice guy.
Has there been stress you had with Eric?
I haven't had any stress with her.
When Eric first started the job, did he felt like he was ready or no?
Well, I wasn't on the job site. I know that you were asked to be a case pusher. As far as I know, you were able to do the job.
Think about Eric Avalano.
He's a rough boy.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
None.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
No.
When Eric comes to work, will he only care about the money?
No, you're really nice and friendly.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
He hates little kids. He hates middle schoolers.
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
Yes, he takes his earplugs and put it in his ear and just listens to his own music.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
He's a good singer.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
Lonely. And I will miss Eric.
About Eric Orlano.
I think he's a good hard worker, and he actually enjoys working and enjoys life most of the time.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
Where's your date? I don't know.
Has there been a hard time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be
Did Brian
stressed?
take my straw?
Yes, when Eric is focused on trying to do 500 different things, and there's a couple of things that need to be taken care of, sometimes it is frustrating to be like, no, I don't need you to do all this. I need you to focus on doing these 2 things right now, and then everything else can be do later.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
Sometimes.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
Probably the same thing it is for me, which is staying focused on the tasks at hand and certain things that need to be done.
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
Yes.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
I have learned a lot about myself through Eric, actually. What I mean by that is, for example, when they think when it should be quieter and it's loud, I generally try to get more obnoxious and louder. Eric just kind of stares at people and just generally is pretty much just doesn't really react. So, yeah.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
It would probably still continue to go on. However, it would make me sad because there are certain days that Eric comes in or that you come in and I'm having a crappy day, and then I see you and it lightens up my day.
Think about Eric Orlano.
Eric's an excellent, great guy, hard worker, gets everything done, always.
Was his disappointment while working here?
One is leaving early, going to break early, staying really late, and with a bunch of kids. Like a lot of kids, like on those Fridays. You know how crazy it gets.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
No, not really.
When Eric comes to work, will he only care about the money?
Do you care about the money? I think you do. Who doesn't? Everybody works for the money.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
Probably working with people he doesn't like. And I know he doesn't like when there's a bunch of middle schoolers making a mess for him, or they make a mess in the restrooms. So I know that he gets you, man.
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
Yeah, you really love silence. When it gets really loud with a bunch of kids, noises, screaming.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
Learned from Eric? He's pretty strong. He can lift those buckets like nobody else.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
Probably the store will be more dirty, and the towels will probably be not done. And well, nobody is here to, get all the kids out.
What do you think about Eric Arellano?
Okay, Eric Arellano is a wonderful guy. That he always do his job. We are very proud of him when he comes to work because he is a hard worker.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
Sometimes he's getting a little stressful, but he's been learning to management as he teach him to breathe deeply and to count to 10, and he's been doing much better.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
It's a little hard for him to work, but we have more people, especially on Fridays when we have a lot of teenagers. But he's been asking to put the headphones on. That will calm him down and work better so he can focus more.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
No, Eric is here to do his job. He doesn't, obviously, just like everybody else, he comes because he will get paid, but he's not focused just because he's going to get paid. He do his job.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
Repeat that one more question.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
The hardest part is just to handle a little bit stressful when we are really busy. But since I say before, he's been teach him how to get rid of the stress, and he's working much better.
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
He does, but I didn't notice that. And most of the time I already ask him, look, if you have a little bit of stress, you can go to the walk-in cooler just to calm down and then just come back to work. Sometimes I just leave we leave him alone so he can calm himself down, and then we come back and repeat the question, the task that needs to be done again.
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
I've been learned that he's very honest. He's a very hard worker. He always been there for us. He's a very educated person because he always just say just ma'am, just sir, and he never say no.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
We've been learning to work with Eric a lot, and it will be really, really missing. We will missing him a lot if he leaves. Hopefully, he stay a few more years with us. We really enjoy working with him.
About Eric Arellano.
Hi. Eric Arellano is an excellent person. He's really noble. He's really hard worker, smiling all the time. He follows the instructions. He's nice with my customer. He's an excellent person.
What was his biggest disappointment while working here?
Since Eric Arellano was working here, my customers are happy because all the time I receive a really good compliment because he is really good doing the job, and like I told you before, he's an excellent person.
Has there been a time when it is hard for you to work with Eric on something that causes you to be stressed?
No, Eric Arellano is a nice person. He never give me a stress. Sometimes we cannot give directions, and he understands the directions, and he's doing it the right way.
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
Sorry, I don't listen to your question. Can you repeat it, please?
When Eric comes to work, will he care only about the money?
No. He all the time he came because he he enjoyed the job. He's not working only for the money because he loves work right here with the people. The people love him, and he loves the people.
In your opinion, what is the hardest part for him while working?
For him, he's really enthusiastic, so he is really dependable, and he is enjoying the job because he's really professional on the job.
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
Oh yeah, sometimes sorry, can you repeat the question?
When it gets loud, did you notice if he reacts and wants to have silence?
Oh yeah. In this case, yes, he doesn't like to work when it's really loud environment. So he prefer be on silent, or the customer be on silent, especially for the Fridays when we have a lot of
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
Sorry, what is the question?
What are some of the things that you have learned from Eric?
Okay, so Eric love work with my customer, so he love give a really good service, and he's really nice with them all the time.
What will happen if Eric did not work here anymore? What will the business be like?
You know what? I don't want to think like that, because Eric is part of this business. Eric is part of my team, so I would like to keep him for a long time.